What's up, everyone? Just going to walk through the last week of price action on GBPUSD. The week was the 11th to the 15th of March. So it was an interesting week. Lots and lots of news for the week. So price action was very, very up and down. Not so much choppy, but just had big runs to the upside and to the downside. So um, if you guys do want to trade live with us, we do trade live every day for New York and for London session. But yeah, let's run into these. We didn't take all of these trades. So these are just the ones that I've gone back over price for the week and seen basically the entries that should have been taken. We did take some of these. We didn't take them all. So on GBP USD for the week, there was a break even, or most would have got a loss depending on how you manage that trade. A 1 to 27 and then a 1 to 11 to end the week. So I'll walk through these. So as you can see, actually I'll start on the higher time frame. So as you can see, we had, just like last week, we had this inducement to the upside, bit of a run of liquidity, which took out all of this liquidity, didn't come into a supply point of any sort, but did take a big amount of liquidity out. And as you can see by how price moved up and how price moves down, it's looking like this run of liquidity will be finished and met once we break structure to the downside where the next liquidity targets are. So definitely coming into this week, we're looking to take those out or possible retracement to then take these out. But if we jump down the hourly, at the start of the week, we had this bearish price action come down here. So Monday was basically here. So we were in a place for a reversal, but leading into that, which is where the 15-minute, which is our intraday time frame we use to take intraday positions, we had taken these equal lows here. These ones right here, and we'd come into this point basically just before, what was it? This was Friday. So leading into Friday, we had, leading into Monday, we had Asian session build up some trend line to the downside. And as you can see, the momentum's to the downside. We've got a great supply point here above some equal highs. We were looking to sell. So if we jump into the lower time frames, this is our break-even trade of the week. Let me just find where we are. There we are right here. So as you can see, price moved up coming into London. It gave us our first trap that we like, an entry model we like. We look for a trap first. We had that trap play out. Price then came in and gave us another tap. Didn't give an entry out of that, which is perfectly fine, but built up some liquidity, swept into that, and then gave us an entry model that we like. Your entry would have been this here, right there, where you got tapped in. It did run, I can move that correctly. It did run basically nearly a 1-to-1, so it wasn't a great reaction. Did take a liquidity and then built up trend line to the downside. So this was just an addition to trend line. At this point with the breakup structure here, you should have gone break even anyway, which is what we were in this trade. We told everybody to do. Price then pushed up, then created that structure to the upside. Where there was another entry, it just had a couple of things that invalidated the entry for us to set and take. So we did have a 5-minute internal break, build up trend line. So not breaking this external was something we wanted to see. So not breaking this did invalidate it. But the main thing invalidated us just setting a limit off of that was the equal highs above. So if you had to set the limit basically above this candle, expecting an inducement into, I reckon it was a 2-minute point or a 1-minute point, you would have caught it. And a great reaction, absolutely beautiful reaction. You'll see in our Euro USD breakdown for the week, when Dylan goes through it, there's actually a trade at the exact same time on Euro USD that runs very, very well, that has a nice entry. So basically break even for Monday, that's completely fine. Managed correctly. Price then messed about for basically Tuesday, no entries here. We had taken a fair amount of liquidity, no entry to get back up on the reversal for our complex pullback. Price then built up. What I've got marked here in yellow is just this support and resistance area, and then decided to come back down. Now we did sweep coming into, I reckon this was London, into New York session, sweep these equal lows. We had a smart money trap build up. Now this trade isn't A plus, but in terms of what confirmations we had, it was worth taking. We had smart money trap build up, so we had first tick off our list. Price then came in, created a lower IFC here, refined IFC, which was really, really nice. So I'll mark that out as a demand point. Price did an internal break of structure, created an inducement point and some trendline liquidity to the downside with liquidity targets above. This mixed in with our timing, this being an entry model and ticking some of our boxes, You could have set this marking the imbalance, just expecting that inducement to come, and the reaction was quite clean. So basically, a lot of news on this day, on the Wednesday. I reckon there was 3 or 4 news events from memory. I could be wrong, but I know there was at least 2, and it went 1 to 27, covering that imbalance, not getting too greedy with just covering the point. So quite clean there. So you could have managed that how you like to manage that. Price coming into Thursday, nothing here. Obviously, with a reaction like this, you need price to slow down. We couldn't get that, so there was no need for us to trade here. Bearish reaction all the way to the downside again, just coming to take that liquidity. Now, coming into New York, this was the last trade we noticed for a setup at the end of the week. It was missing a couple of things, so definitely not an A+ setup, but for a timing basis, wasn't too bad. But it was more the liquidity it swept. So it swept some 4-hour liquidity here, which was previous, like 2 weeks ago, Asian liquidity, and we'd come into a 5-minute point. Not a 5-minute point that holds much in price action, but nonetheless, when an entry gives itself, you look at what it's come into, and it was valid. So basically the same setup as before. The only thing is we didn't get a smart money trap play out to the downside, but you had liquidity build up to the top, small internal break of structure, liquidity to the downside, inducement into a mitigation, and a nice reaction. So 1 to 11 covering, like I said, that imbalance, not getting too greedy. If you just covered the point, had a 3-pip stop loss, 1 to 15, but you don't going to get too greedy. You still want to understand that it may not mitigate this lower point. It just holds strength if it does. So 1 to 11, 1 to 12 there. So that's really all there was for this week. It was a big week of big runs. And when that happens, you don't want to try and just catch things because you can, or catch a falling knife on the way down, or just expect that there's going to be a retracement now. You still need price to slow down, give an entry after taking the right amount of liquidity. So one of those weeks, 3 entries here. EU had nicer entries, so make sure you go and look at Dylan's video that will be uploaded, the breakdown of Euro for the week. And that's all. And just like any other video, if there's any questions you have, make sure you comment down below. First link in the description below, you'll be able to actually watch us live, trade live every day, 2 times a day. Obviously, there's nothing we won't jump on, but you get to see the trades we take, why we take them, go through full breakdowns of those trades, and trade alongside us. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Looking forward to another good week, and we'll see you guys next week.